Yes. Very good morning, one and all present here. I welcome today's resource person, Dr. Salim Akbar, sir. He is a specialist in HR counseling and a practicing counseling psychologist. I welcome today's speaker as well as all the participants who are enrolled for this program. And we had an earlier regarding the communication that should be happen in our counseling setting. And today he is going to enlighten with us another topic. I welcome resource person on behalf of the organizers Yellow Pond and Red Pond Center. Sir, over to you. That's audible, not audible.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you make a co-host as a presenter?
Just a minute, sir. I will do that. Done, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Good morning, one and all. Today, in this workshops, online internship workshop, we are going to see the two things: one anger, and another one is grief. We will see one by one, and I will give some worksheet also. This inventories, and you can evaluate yourself if any grief, if any anger. How we should come out of this, all those things we can evaluate. So if time permits, I will explain during the workshop. Otherwise, I will share in the groups. They can go through it. Okay. Coming to the today's topic, anger and grief. You know very well, both are the emotions. It's coming under the negative emotions. Okay. So the thing is, we have to manage it. That's why it's called anger management. Even grief also, we cannot avoid the grief, and grief is not a disorder. It will happen to everybody. So we have to manage and we have to come out of this grief. Okay. And other important thing is there is a link between anger and grief. As per Kubler-Ross theory, um, he explained grief in the 5 stages. Like anything happen on sad news or whatever it may be. He says first, nobody will accept it. Everybody will deny. Why should it happen to me? Something like that. And second thing, then after realizing, sorry, now it's audible, Mr. Payal? Is it audible now?
Fine, sir.
Okay, sir. And second thing, Kubler explains that, and the persons once delayed, after some time, they will recognize that, okay, something happened. Then they will get angry. So that's how anger and grief is interlinked. So we have to first understood the concept. Grief and anger relationship as per the Kubler theory. Okay. First, anything sadness happen, we will not accept. And the second thing, we'll come to know it is happened. Then we will get anger. So of course, anger is also a negative emotion. As per like Goldman, emotional intelligence, father of the emotional intelligence, he explained these positive emotion and the negative emotions. It's a complex psychological state and interfeelings about outside. Okay. These like anger, once they get anger, then they will go to the like God. They want a solution and they will give the bargaining. That is the third stage. Okay. If I am come out of this issue, I will do this. I will do something like that. Depends on their belief systems, and then they will they will undergo the state of depression. Then they will come out of this. This is the 5 stages of the grief. Grief actually, it's not a disorder. It will happen to everybody. So according to this, the grief is anger is related to second stage of grief. Okay. So let us see one by one in detail. Then we have to understand anger and grief is the negative emotions. So now what we have to think is it's health, like maintaining balance in the emotional health. It is the person's ability to accept and manage feelings through the challenge and change. That is the formula we have to keep. You're getting, if you are in the scenario of grief or getting anger, think that we can come out of this. So it is a person's ability, completely pure ability to accept because we cannot avoid. We have to accept and manage the feelings, whatever anger, whatever. Through the challenge, we have to make a change. This is the entire formula for the handling the anger and grief. And second thing, having good emotional health doesn't mean that you are always happy or free from negative. It's about having the skills to manage the ups and downs. If you are having the skill to manage all those things and you are maintaining your emotional health very well. And WHO says that emotional health are control of their thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Of course, Goldman also saying same that it's a complex state components of emotional health is explained that it's a subjective experience and cognitive process thinking. Then it's a behavior, expression of behavior, right? So we will go one by one and we'll see how anger happening, how the griefs, and what the theory says, how we have to tackle, what are the strategies, how we should evaluate ourselves, and what is the better strategy to come out of this. Let us see one by one. Let me go to the presentation now. Now screen is visible. Anybody can confirm?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Just I will go through the scales, then we'll go to the presentation. Probably if you're not getting time, I can share in the group and you can go through it. This is the one scale, Hogan Grief Reaction Checklist Scale. If you are getting grief, you are in the anger or depression state, we can evaluate ourselves. This is a Likert scale 1 to 5. 1 is describing, does not describe at all, and it goes to describe me very well. Okay, we can evaluate. There is a 65 question, but is in the different category. It is compared of everything, and you can evaluate. This is the one. And second thing, ISLE scale. This is integration of stressful life experience scale. This is also Likert scale, starting to 1 to 5. 1 is strongly agree and 5 is strongly disagree. Again, there's a couple of questions here, almost 16. And third one, grief and meaning reconstruction inventory. This is also another Likert scale. Here 1 is strongly agree, 5 is strongly, 1 is strongly disagree, 5 is strongly agree. So according to that, you have to put your scores. The scores will differ. 1 is here disagree. I think earlier on it is agree. So just keep in mind that and you can evaluate yourself. And another one is IDWL, is inventory of daily wide-out life. Here there are multiple questions. You can see the Likert scale type. Almost I will do, often I will do, once in a while, rarely. So you can evaluate and you can come to know how much you score or where stage you are. You are in anger, or you are in depression, or you are in acceptance, and you come out of that. The final one is perceived life significance scale. Here there's a Likert scale is not 5, it's 1 to 7. You can see never, 1 is never, completely, and always agree. Completely and always. So in between you can give the score. If you are want to give the never or completely disagree, you can give 1. If you are in moderate or mid level, you can give 4. If you are agree, you are completely agree that one, and always means you can give 7. Depends on that, you can give the score 1 to 7. And final one, inventory of complicated spiritual grief. It's very, very important scale. It will be useful, the grief, you are in the stage of grief. Okay, let me circulate in the WhatsApp group and you can evaluate yourself. Okay, So, as I said earlier, just I want to give the just small input. We have to admit that anger and grief is the emotion, and of course, it is a negative emotion. So, it is a complex psychological state and interfeeling about outside. The only thing is how we are accepting and managing these negative feelings through whatever the challenge you are facing and how you are changing the situation. That is the whole scenario, everything, total concept is this. So, and the second thing, as per Gubler theory, anger is related to the grief. How it is related? He explained grief is a 5 stage. First one is like denial. If anything happen, we will delay. Second one is if we accept and we will get anger. Why it is happened to me? Why not happen to others? Something like that. So in that way, anger is connected to the grief. Okay. In practical, just I want to give one example. We will see the scientifically theories and solutions, strategy, all those things. You can make as a tips. There is a magic of water. Water will do a lot of magics. Whatever you are going to give the today's knowledge, it's okay. But just keep in mind that if you are in anger at any point of time, take glass of water. Definitely it will reduce your anger. Even take 1 tumbler or 2 tumbler, whatever it may be. So the anger will be reduced. And second magic of water is if anybody in the grief stage or we are in the grief stage, immediately we have to put water and we have to do the face wash, or by force we can do it. For doing this one 2 times, 3 times, really we will come out of that issue. Our psychological changes will happen in mind, and damn sure we will come out of that negative emotions and behavior, feelings, whatever, and immediately we will have some recap. We will have some recap, and we will fall into the some positive aspects. So try this method and trips. Okay, anger. So what the theory says, nobody makes you angry. You decide to use anger as a response. So it is in your hand. Ball is in your court. If you are responding, you will get angry. For not responding, nothing will happen. So don't think that it is in some other's hand. If anything happen, you can respond it, not react. Don't react immediately. That way you can avoid the anger. And if we have to agree for anger, anything happen, we have to come up with the resilience. We have to build the resilience to come out of all those things. And Vicky Harrison said, grief is like a ocean. It comes in waves. Grief is like the ocean. It comes in waves, ebbing and flowing. Sometimes the water is calm and sometimes it is overwhelming. All we can do is learn to swim. So from this, what we understand, we cannot avoid anything. We have to only manage. How we can manage with the building resilience by the quality of I can, I have. So we have to understand our self. We have to do the self-analysis. We have to make the coping strategies, and we have to come out of this. There's a 7 C's, no famous 7 C's: control, coping, confident, and contribution, character, and competence. With all those things, we can develop our emotional control with resilience ring. So definitely we can handle all the situations and we can come out. And there are some strategies also available: building a strong emotional connections, promoting healthy risk taking, demonstrating coping skills. All those things will support us to come out of any issues. As I said earlier, as per the Kubler theory, there is a link between anger and grief. It is in stage 3. He says, if anything sad news or anything happen, Generally, all the people will fall under the 5 stages, as I said earlier, and denial, angry, and acceptance, and depression. Okay, but it is not mandatory. Everybody will having the same stages. Maybe probably a couple of people they can face 1, 2, they will come out, and other people's they can go to the stage 4 and they can come out. It depends on the persons. Okay, so in that way, the second anger is in second stage. If anything happens, we will having the problems and we will be more upset. So what we can do, we have to accept the situations, and if we are in the initial stage, we have to make a strategy to come out of that grief. There is a 4, 5 strategies also available to come out of this one. You know very well, somebody's if any grief, anything sad news, the loved one they got sick or they lost their loved ones, they will go to the addiction stage, correct? So they will do the like some they will go with some addictions, whatever it may be. So entirely their life will be changing. So keep in the mind that so it's not a permanent solution. We will scientifically will see how we can come out. There is a physiological response and psychological responses will happen in the both time. See, physiological responses mean like crying, um, sighing, respirations, loss of appetite, choking, tightness in chest. All those things will happen if anything happen, even anger or grief. And psychological means anger. We will get anger. That is one thing. Anxiety, panic, all those things happen. Only thing we have to manage and we have to come out. So it is the management. We cannot avoid it completely. We can only what we can do, we can manage. So what is the meaning of management? Management, planning, or in general management, their theories is planning, organizing, and controlling. So if anything happen, we have to manage the situation. We have to plan, direct, organize, and control the situations. We cannot avoid it. Okay, this is the Hubler theory. Grief, any sadness, any loss, immediately the person, you can see the cycle. You can see the cycle. If an incident happen, the first one is denial. Nobody will accept it. Why it has happened to me? No, it will not happen to me. They will not accept it. It is not fair. It is not happen to me. No, it cannot. Something like that. Then they will accept that, okay, it has happened. Why it has happened to me? It is not fair. So, yes, Payal, yeah, correct. So, then they will try to do the bargaining. If God will help me through this, I promise I will go to the go to the mosque, prayer, church, or temple, whatever, and I will do this volunteering service, all those things. This is the uh, third one, bargaining. Then second is anger, third is the bargaining, and depression. Depression is the stage full impact of loss is experience. The depression only they will feel the experience, they will accept and they will feel the losses experience. This is a time of quite dispersion and disengagement from all association with the lost entity. They will be alone and they will be away from all those day-to-day activity, all those things. And finally, they will accept it. They will accept it. This is the final stage. All individuals don't experience actually each of these stages. It depends on the person to person. Now again, John Pauli hypothesized different stages of the grief. It is numbness and disequilibrium, disorganization, reorganize, all those things. So there's a process, the grief process, how it is happening, and the resolutions, all those things. How we would respond, we will see one by one. Okay, we saw earlier the depression. It is the one stage of um, grief. Okay, so but we have to understand depression and the grief, and we have to accept the similarities. What is then? You know very well. In the next coming slide, I will be explaining the sadness and the depression. As per WHO, they are saying any incident, anything happen, we are getting stressed, it is a temporary. Due to the stress, we are in the sadness, it is a temporary. If it is continuous to the 90 days period, then it's called a depression. Okay. If it is a temporary, it's a stress. If it is continuous for the 90 days, it is called a depression. Okay. Now, grief. Grief is a deep sadness. We have to accept the deep sadness. It is a difficulty protecting acceptance and seeing or hearing things related to the loss. We will deny all those things. Okay. Okay. Some incident happen, some losses happen. We are in the grief. So, and depression is coming under the stage 3. So preoccupation with the worthlessness, suicidal thoughts, all those things. We have to come out of this. In the depression, in the third stage of depression and whole process of grief, there is a similarity. Loss of appetite, weight loss. These are the, as I said earlier, psychological response and physiological responses. And similarity is they mean physiological and psychological responses. Crying, loss of appetite, choking, all those things are physiological and psychological. Anger, that is a stage 2, anger and disorientation, not concentrate on anything. Even for the crisis also, sometimes everybody will be getting uh, anger and it will lead to the depression. And even the Kubler theory also applicable for this crisis time also. Okay, so make sure that sadness and depression is different. It's not the same. In single word, we can say depression is if you are carrying the any event or any incident or any loss over a period of time for 90 days, it is called a depression. If it is temporarily, we come out those things and it's called a sadness. So sadness is usually temporary. Depression is it's long period, probably 90 days. Okay. Depression requires assistant medication and support. Cannot be chronic. If you are in sad for 1 day or 2 days, no need to worry. If it is continuous, then you require some assistant and medication and support. It can be chronic in nature. So attention is required. And sadness is often connected to a life change, something negative. But depression can rear its ugly head whenever it wants. And sadness usually without feeling of suicide. We are in the sadness, what we will do, they want some changes. They are in home, they will want to go out, they want to hear music. That's it. But whereas in depression, if it is continuous, keep on 90 days, it goes, then they will do withdrawal from the people. Then they will, extreme case, they will go to suicide and addiction. As I said, they will go to the addiction. Lot of things will happen. But there is a like solution strategies also there scientifically, spiritually to come out of all those things. Repeating mantra, creating your mantra, relaxing, take it easy, all those is there. And like stretching body, it will definitely helpful. Mentally escaping, like sleeping into a quiet room, closing your eyes, practicing visualizing yourself in a relaxing sense, and play some tunes. And of course, like hydrate and taking water, all those things. And spiritually, what you can do, seek a master, get a help, go to with your own mentor, and go to with your own counselor, get a counseling. Otherwise, learn yourself with religious books, learn practice, avoid associate emotion like greed, lust, etc. Whatever. Associating with the spiritual group and learn more about ego, obsessive desire, and unfair, powerful play, strong attachment. All those things definitely will helpful to come out of sad, depressed, angry, grief, or whatever. So we can say this is a scientific and spiritually way to come out of those issues. And 360-degree, we can say, see anything happen, like if you are going counselor, how we can overcome this. Like as I said, spirituality means we will seek a counselor or mentor. Okay, that is one. And as a counselor, are the victims ourselves. number two, and loved ones. We can talk to our loved ones or well-wisher and workmates in the working places or whatever. These four quadrant and 360-degree really will helpful, and with this help we can come out of the any depression, sad, anger or grief, whatever it may be. Anxiety in one important thing. The things will not happen, but we will get tension. The tension lead to angry. So that way anxiety is connected to the angry. Anxiety is an emotion. It's characterized by the feeling of tension, worry, thoughts, and physical changes like increased blood pressure. For example, tomorrow what will happen? In the crisis also, in the crisis time, everybody thought thinking that, so we don't have the money, what we'll do in the next month. There's some companies, the people and the management laid off the employees, and they will think, so what I will do without next month's salary. A student, they are in within a wall for the 1 year. They will physiologically, psychologically, they will feel that they are not the society, they are alone. So how, when it will end, something like that. So worries. So this worrying about the future definitely lead to the anger. Then what will happen? This anger slowly it will pull into the depression. Then this depression, sadness, it will go into the sadness. Then the sadness will make you stress, and stress will lead to the depression. So we should not fall in this loop. We have to make carefully. Grief is one thing. If anything loss or any event it is happened, it will lead to the sadness, stress, depression, anger. Okay. Anxiety is not like that. Nothing will happen. But we will worry ourselves without anything. Tomorrow if it happens, what we will do? If it is happens, how I will manage? If it happens, when I will overcome? Who will help me? All those anxiety. So these also very dangerous situations. Anxiety also, as per Kubler theory, it will put you in the loop of make you sadness, stress, depression. So now we will overall understand like relationship between anger, these negative positive emotions, anger and grief. So according to American Psychological Association, emotion is defined as a complex reaction pattern. It's a complex psychological state because it is interlinked with the positive and negative. Okay, emotion is defined as a complex reaction pattern involving experiential behavioral, not physiological elements. Emotions are how individuals deal with matter or situation they find personally significant. Because we cannot avoid any negative things, but the only we can do is we can manage and we can come out with strategies what I told earlier, like scientific way, spiritual way. So basically, it is about having our skills to manage the ups and downs. We have to make in mind. It is a skill. We have to create a skills to manage ups and downs. We cannot avoid it. So it's a person's ability to accept and manage feelings through the challenges and changes, whatever the changes happen. Okay, grief, if we are in sad, we lost somebody, loved ones, whatever, then where it will trigger, what will happen? So it will affect our work due to our bad emotions. Frequent anger will be outburst. They will do low concentration. They will not do the work properly. In the working place, they have a high absent rate as per the record. They have higher negative thoughts like suicide, all those things. And poor communication, they will withdraw from the society, from the people, whatever. So these are the main things, negative things will happen due to the anger. And second thing, so how we have to come out, let me see. And physiological problem, insomnia will happen, blood pressure will increase, fatigue, and the loss of appetite. Earlier I explained to you. These are the physiological problem. Okay, physical weakness, changing. Okay, fine. Everything is happening. So We have to keep in mind that one. Yeah, there are different types like a normal griefs, complicated grief, chronic, and secondary and accumulation. So everybody will not have these problems. Suppose if normal means they will come out within a couple of days, within 3 days, and if it is a chronic complicated, probably they will not forget the loss of loved ones up to the 30 years also. That is the case. So that is very dangerous situations. Maybe breakup or miscarriage or loss of job. Sometimes loss of job, it's a temporary. If they got job, they will come out quickly. But whereas breakup or miscarriage or death of loved ones, some people will carry up to the 5 year, 10 year, even 20 year, 30 year also. Okay, so generally 40 percentage in grievous thoughts loops. So how it is? 41 percentage pain, thought about loss. 27 percentage problems, accept the loss. 18% is the self balance. This is how it will work. We have to understand the nature of the grief. It is individuals and it is individual and it is unique. There are no absolution in a grief. Grief is normal. We have to accept it and it's a natural. We have to keep in mind that it will happen for everybody. It will not only for ours. Grief is not a personality disorder. Grief is misabled as a depression. So unresolved grief also there. Like I will explain later one by one. Okay, how we can manage our anger? Anger management does not involve getting rid of all anger, but using anger to enhance your life. We can look at the purposes. The positive aspect, there is we are not getting anger. For example, you are working in the place and you are dealing with your kid. I think it is going to auto mode. Anyway, let me explain to you. The positive, what I want to tell is there is a positive aspect and there is an negative aspect. If something happened to your kid with, in your house, you have to definitely shout. Otherwise, they will not change their character. Okay, we have to express, we have to vent out. But make sure you are in particular line. You should not cross that line. That is positive. And the negative thing is for getting anger, and you should not keep on hold for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Then it will lead to a worried situation. So you should have a different skills to manage anger. Identify a range of feelings, including anger. Identify the potential consequences to self and others. Identify self-destructive behavior. Identify thoughts related to aggressive act. Identify internal cues to feeling of anger. Develop coping mechanism for dealing. Okay. Sometimes in the family or working places, we'll get conflicts. Conflict definitely will lead to the anger. Anger and it lead to the sadness, stress, depression. So we have to avoid the conflict. How we can avoid the conflict? Make approach, share perspective, build understanding, plan next steps, agree on solutions. Then you will avoid the further misconception or miscommunication. Reflect before you begin with any conflict happens. Be clear about your intention. State your goal, your positive resolution. Invite the other party to conversation because conflict can happen in the family, in the society, or everywhere. Ask for other person's perspective. Paraphrase what you hear. Acknowledge your contribution. Without people, we cannot do anything. So make sure that maximum due to the conflict only everything is happening. So try to avoid the conflict. If you have any discussion, have a come to the mutual conclusion. Discuss one issue at a time, clarify assumption, explore. And stage 4 of agreeing on solution is you want to take the solution, take the reliability test and durability test, interest test. Don't focus on from your side or other side. Be fair. So anger, and if a range of feeling, including anger, excitement, disappointment, jealousy, fear, helpless, all those things. Let me avoid a couple of slides and then go to again. There is a formula strategy to come out of anger and avoid anger. Step 1, 1 to 3 Ratel. Just remember this one, 1 to 3. One is go inside yourself. That means safe. Think before you act. Take a time out and time to relax, calm yourself down. Second step is take deep breath. Think a good solution and walk away. Think of a good solution and walk away. Okay. We understood that anger, grief, and all negative thoughts. So, how we can handle this? This is a challenging issue. What you can do? Be conscious your thoughts. Keep busy yourself. Avoid triggers. Take rest. Listen to music. It's a very important tips to come out of this negative emotion. Not only this, any negative emotions. We can, with this help, we can come out. And just understand how recovery it will relax, it will work, and reward it will. Take it slow, have a sleep, focus on eating healthy. All those things will definitely help you to come out of recover and relax. Focus on doing things that bring you the least amount of stress while lifting you up. Anything that helps you unwind and slow down. And reward, treat yourself to a reward for finishing difficulty. How to maintain emotional health in these situations? Be realistic. Don't dream bad. In the workplace, trust your coworker. Plan and prepare. Ask help. Nothing is wrong. Here, just I want to give the some tips yourself. You can do the exercise. If anything grief has happened, you will be in depression, right? So take a diary and note it down. Anything, any one or two, whatever, three things you were disturbing you. List out 1 to 3, and fix a date for 30 days. And difficulty level. For example, if you are getting angry in workplace, mention number 1. Difficulty level, you can put your boss is shouting you, so you cannot control. Put 9 difficulty level. For example, if you are the family, if you are having your kid is troubling, okay, but you can manage. You can put your difficulty level 5 out of 10. So in such a way, you plan for 30 days and put your difficulty level and add it. For example, loss of interest I put 15 and difficulty level I put 9. So 15 plus 9, 24. So duration is in days and difficulty levels 1 to 10 scale. So whatever the issues you have, put maximum you can put 5, because you cannot if you are having so many troubles like 5, 10, you cannot come out. So at least take a 5 troubles and put it for the calendar for 30 days and difficulty level and add it up. Then what you can do, you can make it a cut down percentage. Every week you have to monitor. For example, first week you want to cut down of like 10 percentage. Okay. Second item, you want to come out of 90 percentage, and make yourself this expected cut down and put it down. If suppose 1 week completed, monitor yourself how much you reached. For example, your target is 10, then put yourself, if you are okay, you put 10 out of 10. Otherwise, you put, for example, if you are in the midway, you cannot come out of this one, then put 5 or 6, whatever. Then try to put some method for to come out of all those things. Mention it here. You have to practice for at least 3 weeks. First week, second week, third week, you have to monitor yourself. Then put a chart and duration and difficulty level in each week, each item. For example, it is 30 days, 35 days. Okay. So first week, you can see the loss of interest. 15 days means almost the second week. And difficulty level, how the difficulty level. And the same way, second item, excessive crying. So if you are having the one item, you put 1. If you are having the 1, 2, 3, like 3, 4, better. I think 3 is better, because for putting so much your issues, you cannot concentrate, you cannot plan it. So make it 3, and you monitor yourself for almost 30 days. That means 4 weeks. And what you can do, you can compare yourself how you are expected and how you come down. So put a graph yourself. Then what you can do? Then you can try to reduce, and on point of time it will match. You will come out from the issues. This is the Kubler-Ross graph theory. I explained to you stage 1 to 5. Denial, anger, breathing, depression, and acceptance. You can see the bargaining time. So it is the emotional support is required. The first in the communication time. If anything news, you hear the last news, you will get deny, you will deny. Then you will get anger. That's a communication. And second one is emotional time, bargaining. And final one is guidance and direction. We will be in the depression, and we will accept, and we will try to, with the help of external support, we will come out from this one. And the theory, it was I think 1916. It is the theory explained and derived from the Kubler and Griff model. Another, this is the Kubler-Ross theory. 5 stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression. Okay, the 5 stages. And second theory, J.W. Warden. This theory explained actually to accept the reality of loss. We have to accept it. Any loss happen, and to work out through the pain of grief. We have to make some plan and to adjust life without this. This is the second famous theory. Okay, what is the common symptoms? If any shock or any loss or anything happen, definitely we will have the sadness, and we will have guilt, regret, and physical symptoms, fatigue, sickness, all those things. And we required actually counseling therapy. There's a difference between counseling and the therapy. The counseling is, it's like a support. What I can say, the counselor will give you some tips or anything to come out of this one. Therapy is the person counseling. He will undergo, he will do himself, and he will come out of this one. So there is a major difference between counseling and therapy. If you are Googling it, you will definitely will identify the difference between this thing. If anything happen, first it will affect our physiological, second is psychological. So in counseling, we have to keep in these two things, and how we should overcome physiological responses and psychological. And the grief process, how we have to do the grief process. Negative feelings will come. We have to do the coping mechanism, and we have to grab the healing. Okay, second, resolution. Resolution is very, very important. Never forget to, but go on without the other. Greater understanding of life is important. And this is just of a type of grapes. I said earlier I explained to you, some losses happen, loved ones means probably some people they are carrying weeks, not only weeks, like 2 year, 3 year. That is called chronic. So somebody will be, some persons will take normal. A person, it will take a year and a year. So it is everything. It depends on us how to take all those things. But of course, there are a lot of strategies are available to come on all those these negative emotions, because with that's how we can find out. We can see with our moods and behavior, sleeping, and we can identify the sounds. Like example, like sleep, we have excessive sleep or insomnia. Okay, that the cognitive we can take it like a lack of concentration and slow in our activity. Of course, we can see from our mood, like we will get anger, we will be in mood swing, all those things. So with these common symptoms, we can try out and we can find out where we are. But there are some myths also there about anger. I want to tell. See, somebody tell, I should not hold in my anger, tension. It's healthy to vent out and let it. Correct. But well, it is true that suppressing and ignoring anger is unhealthy. Venting is no better. Imagine venting out aggressively. So we have to vent out properly. In wrong, we should not vent out wrongly. We have to keep in that one. So which one is trigger your for example, your emotions, your attitude, okay, it will trigger. What makes you angry means, if you are in the grief, yourself, your emotion, and people, other people behavior, sometimes like selfishness, all those things. And things, if you are losing anyone, losing loved one, things out of order, you will get anger. And nature, like a pandemic, out of reason and overpowering. These are the things it will trigger you. So keep in mind that you have to work with a good strategy, and you can come out with a good solution. Like passive, passive way, what you can do, you can have a humor, you can have a discussion, and all those things. Assertive way, it's not a problem, I can do it, something like that. You can come out of that. An aggressive way, short-term solutions like count 1 to 10. As I said, take couple of water, glass of water, and leave the scene and breathe slowly. These are the things. There are several reasons you can come out of from anger. So with this note, I would like to stop my presentation. Any questions, anything you can discuss. I hope you might have understand. Say linkage between anger and grief and how it is works, what are the physiological changes, psychological changes. And I will share you the inventory scales, all those things. So you can go through and you can evaluate yourself because you cannot do at a time. Take your time and evaluate. You can use all the inventory scale, 5 scale, or use one scale, and you can give it to your anybody's coming for counseling, you can use it yourself with the different like adult people, adolescent, whatever it may be. Definitely, you can evaluate the which stage they are in. They are in depression, they are in angry. As per Kubler theory, you can understand which stage of grief they are in. Then you can give the solution to those people to come out of that grief. Any questions?
Dear participant, if you have any questions related to the topic, you can welcome, or else you can give the feedback for the session.
Sir, I will put that inventory scale in the WhatsApp group, sir.
Okay, sir. Fine, sir. I think that there is no question from the participant side. So,
Yes, sir.
there is a question. What you can do, you can post the questions in the chat box in WhatsApp also, and your questions will be answered by the resource person. Now, I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Salim Akbar, sir, for giving an important and need of our topic today. And every one of us, we know that anger and grief are prevalent in almost all the areas due to the COVID-19 second wave crisis. And he given inputs on that. Thank you so much, sir, for given the detailed input, the basics of the introduction, and when you commit to that, and what are the changes are there, how they can react to that, and everything you explained very well. Thank you so much, sir. Please accept our gratitude. And we will
Thank you,
meet
sir.
tomorrow with another wonderful session with the same. And tomorrow you are having 2 more sessions, and tomorrow is the last day for your intensive as well as a counseling training program. At the end, you will have 100 MCQ questions. So it will help you as to know that how extent you understand our concept. So be prepared and keep it engage yourself to read again and again, because reinforcement is very important when it goes to your long-term memory, and you can retrieve at any time for your future reference. With that note, I can conclude here. We will meet tomorrow, and we will today evening also we'll have one more session. We'll meet tomorrow with another session. Bye bye. Thank you. Take care. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all.